We're back for another edition of Kelsey's Corner with ASU softball star, Kelsey Hall. Kelsey, welcome back.
You know, every time I get to be here, I'm just so happy. So thank you.
Oh my goodness. It's our pleasure, really. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Look,
that's true.
I want to talk a little bit about just your performance over the last couple of weeks, really this season in general. But before we get to that, yesterday's game against GCU, 2 home runs for the Kelsey Hall. Just walk me through that first one and then what was going through your head when you saw that second one just kind of leave the park.
The first at bat, since we were at GCU, I was the second batter of the game, and this girl, she threw gas, not gonna lie. She's a pretty legit pitcher. And I remember the first pitch, I was like, okay, I just need to be on time. I was like, my foot is still up by the time it gets to the catcher's mitt. So I was like, oh, okay. So that didn't really work. But then I was just like, I just need to start earlier. And I just I just swing and it just works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. No, but really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not making the moment too big, and it was a pretty good feeling to know that it can happen. It's been a while, so.
For you, when you do that so early on in the game, and then as you go out, kind of your second at bat, third at bat, whatever, like, is it in like the back of your head of just like, okay, let's go for 2, or like let's go for 3, or is it really like you have to like disassociate with the first one and just kind of focus on that one at bat?
I definitely don't think let's get 2 or 3. Obviously, it would be awesome. But typically, the only thing that I think when I do have solid at bats is like basically trying to plan for most likely how they're going to pitch, if they're going to pitch around me, if they're going to come at me, what pitch should I hit. So therefore, they probably won't throw that again. So just in that sense, changing the plan there, but not in the sense of, oh, I'm just going to hit 4 home runs now.
Flexing on them. It's going to send this one to the moon.
Yeah, because when typically how it works is if you try to hit a home run, you're not hitting a home run. So that's why in my last at bat, when that one went over the fence as well, I had 2 strikes and there was 2 outs and we were losing. And so I was like, you just need to get on base. You just need to get on base. That's all you need to do. And then I was like, oh.
Like, were you surprised? You were surprised that it went over the fence?
A little bit, yeah. I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. Good job, Kels.
For you, it's been obviously you're one of the most consistent hitters on the team, but you've been a very strong offensive player pretty much throughout your entire collegiate career. For you, like, where in kind of, I guess, at what point did you know that was maybe the strongest part of your game was when you do have a bat in your hands?
Well, at Boise State, I was the DH for my 2 years mostly. So typically for me, that first year coming back from the ACL, I wasn't expecting much in the sense of power performance. I was just trying to give myself grace and trying to get back into the game because my freshman year was the COVID pandemic, and then sophomore year I tore it after the first weekend. So I really hadn't played, which was crazy to think about. So really for me, I just continued to keep building, and I think I found a lot of grace within myself, and I'm very thankful that everything happened the way it did because I was a mental midget my freshman year. I'm not going to lie. And everyone goes through it, but I was very result oriented with my thoughts. And if I wasn't hitting 2 for 3, I remember I'd get really upset with myself. And so then just kind of backtracking and figuring out what works for me is, yeah, so really just that junior, well, technically freshman, sophomore, right? They're all messed up.
Yeah, I know. You've been in college for such a long time now.
Yeah, so. At this point next year, I'm going to have a walking cane when I go up to bat instead of a bat at this rate.
That'd be incredible.
I think I also have always been someone where I'm not the most naturally, you don't look at me and you're like, oh, she's going to hit tanks. I'm on the smaller side to an extent. And so for me, it was just the work ethic, and it's what I really enjoyed. So really, I built confidence from there. And now when I go up to bat, I build that confidence within my at-bats.
For you bring up the mental side of the game. Obviously, we can get into this season at some point, but throughout your career, you mentioned the injuries, the teams, whatever. For you, again, was there like a specific moment for you or a conversation that you had to have with yourself or a friend or family member at a certain point where you're just like, okay, I need to take a step back and stop focusing so much on the result part of this whole thing?
It happened. I've had this conversation multiple times. Obviously, I would like to act like I'm 100% process oriented all the time to this
Hmm.
day, which is definitely not true. But I remember my freshman year at Fresno, I had an awesome assistant coach, and he would call me after games, and I would just be so frustrated with myself. And he really made me recognize that my college career is going to be very long and painful if this is how I define myself. And so I was building that process, and then the world shut down. But I remember there was a weekend we were at home at Boise State, and I was really frustrated it was against San Jose State. And I remember, I don't know what, I think I had a concussion. I gave myself a concussion before the game. It was self
You gave
diagnosed.
yourself a concussion?
Yes, so there was like a floating shelf with our Mountain West trophy, and the speaker was underneath it, and I came up and I hit my head so hard. And that's why I had strikeouts every at bat. That was why.
Okay. We'll blame it on the concussion, the floating
Yeah, no,
shelf.
exactly. But I remember sitting in the hole, and I was getting really frustrated with myself, and I took a step back, and I literally remember the thought process being, you need to be happy that you're here, and you need to be happy with growing and getting to the next step of who you want to be. So I had a lot of those conversations with myself. I'm a pretty self-reflective person, and luckily for me, growing up, my dad, he was never one that would get mad at me if I didn't hit home runs every at bat, or
Hmm.
if I struck out. He was just, all you can control is your attitude and effort. So on the come up as well, I was pretty blessed having a lot of support to think in the healthiest way.
Do you think that kind of mentality, having those conversations so early on in your career and kind of going through everything that you went through has helped you maybe a little bit this season, where in reality it hasn't been the most glorious, perfect season for Arizona State softball, but it does feel like in the conversations again that we've had, like it is more of like, okay, we're just taking it game by game, right? The happy opening day kind of mentality. Has that kind
Mm-hmm.
of inspired you to at least game by game just kind of separate the result from the process?
100%. I think obviously there is frustrations within every loss. We're all competitors.
Hmm.
Within being process oriented, you still get ticked off when you do everything right and you lose a game. Definitely. But I think I am so blessed to have had so much experience on the front end of my career, to where I've came here and I've, hopefully, I would like to think so, been able to provide a little bit of consistency with the mentality and persistence and continuing to show up and wanting to figure it out. Because facing the elephant in the room, it could be very easy to want to quit, to not
Hmm.
want to show up and just be like, well, this is it. But at the end of the day, a lot of what we talked about yesterday too is going 1-0 on the day. No matter what we're talking about, making a run in the tournament, making a run against Arizona this weekend, we can't do that until we win this first pitch.
Hmm.
So I would definitely say having all those conversations and going through it myself, because I can say it to anyone and everyone, but until you really go through it yourself, you won't entirely understand how important it is to be process oriented. But it's definitely helped me continue to want to show up.
You bring up Arizona, obviously a massive, massive series for you guys against the Wildcats in Tucson. Still looking for that first Pac-12 series win. Like, what would it mean for you to have that first series win against your rival on the road?
Oh, it would be so special. We keep talking about it. This is, again, they're a very awesome program to compete against, and I think it's going to be a really fun weekend. But again, like I've continuously said to you, that this series every day is very much so in our hands.
Hmm.
And so it would be really exciting. Are you kidding me? The big infamous rivalry, and then we get to celebrate on their field. Of course, that would be very awesome. But in order to do that, we're going to have to show up. We're going to, again, at practice today, go 1-0 on the day. the next day do the same thing. So I think continuing to build good days to where we can execute, and we'll be in a good spot.
Absolutely. Look, I do want to transition off of softball, get to some more lighthearted stuff, because those are some of my favorite conversations that you and I have when we talk about space.
We do have great ones.
Or concerts. I saw something on I want to say TikTok not too long ago about internal monologues. Did you see that by chance?
Mm-mm.
So apparently, not everybody has an internal monologue. An internal monologue is like, so the conversations that you have with yourself, right? You're not verbally saying these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, we could have a conversation, you could see something, and there's a voice in your head, like you're having the conversation with, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
There are people who don't have those, who don't have the little voice in their head, and they just react. Like they just do whatever, I guess, immediately comes to mind.
Like their impulsive thought.
Yeah. But like there isn't, I can't even try and fathom stepping into that, like into somebody's head like that, because it's like crickets. There's like nothing going on. And I literally know people. Once I saw this, I was like, do you have an internal monologue? Do you have an internal monologue? And 99% of people said yes. And one of my friends was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like,
did it make sense?
It made sense to them. It made sense to them.
No,
they
did
thought
it make
I
sense
was
that
crazy.
he was the one to say that?
Exactly.
Was
they thought I was crazy.
like,
So, do you know anybody, or who do you think on the team? I'll put you on. Just this is, yeah. Who do you think on the team maybe doesn't have an internal monologue?
Hands up, don't shoot. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I think
you wouldn't be friends with that person anymore.
I think everyone is extremely intelligent and very thoughtful about everything that they do.
Just home run answer. Home run number 3 in back-to-back days. Now, do you think you've ever met anybody that doesn't have an internal monologue?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But now you know.
100%.
Now you know. I'm curious if anybody in the chat has maybe experienced any of that as well. Or maybe there's some people in the chat that don't have internal monologues.
Yeah, maybe they're feeling personally attacked by this topic of conversation. You know what? We apologize.
No, I'm a stand-up business. I don't apologize. I don't apologize. Look, the last question that I have for you has to do with, let's say Kelsey Hall, phenomenal career. You go on to be, I don't know, President of the United States, CEO of a Fortune 500 company, something, right? To where they're going to make a movie about you. Okay.
Honestly, I deserve a movie, I think.
I would. Yeah, absolutely. Who do you think, or who would you want to play you in a movie? Okay. Now, in this movie, you also have to cast somebody for your sister, Coach B, and yours truly. Okay.
Yours truly.
So
you get Theo Vaughn. There's no question about that.
I'll take it. That's a compliment. I'll take it.
Hear me out. Coach B's getting Sandra Bullock.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a really, really good one.
Yeah. I think because she's just strong-willed, their head coach, Sandra Bullock.
Great actress.
Who's playing me? Ooh.
These are the hard-hitting questions, Kelsey.
I'm like, hear me out. Well, there's no one that I think, like, do they have to look like me?
I mean, that's entirely up to you.
I don't think any, like, there's no, like, super rich, famous celebrity. I'm like, we're twins. So, I don't know exactly who it would be, but it need to be someone that's funny, because we have to have a little bit of humor within this film.
I mean, Theo Vaughn's bringing all the jokes, so.
Yeah, but Theo Vaughn's going to be like my sidekick.
Wow.
So that's
Okay, I get it. You're Batman. I'm Robin. It's okay.
Yeah, so you are somehow PHNX podcast turned into my number one sidekick in the film of my life.
Are we fighting crime, or like what are we doing?
I mean, whatever the world needs at that point, I think Batman and Robin can figure it out.
Whatever the world needs, we got it.
Yeah, Theo Vaughn and I don't know. Who would you think would play me? You know me.
Oh my goodness. Let me think on that. You cast your sister. Who's playing your sister in this movie?
Sorry. I'm just thinking of funny people. I think she would get like a. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm
Who
gonna say this might be a little crazy. Jennifer Aniston.
is playing your sister?
Yep, Jennifer Aniston's playing my sister.
Okay. Huh.
I'm just getting good vibes. I get good,
Just getting good vibes.
soft, but funny vibes.
This is
My
a big
sister's-
movie. This is a big movie if we got Jennifer Aniston.
Well, we're not having B-list celebrities in here. Come
That's
on,
fair.
we got Theo
That's
Vaughn
fair.
in it.
That's fair.
Theo Vaughn basically should be POTUS at this rate. Come on.
I'm trying to think funny. I
Maybe
don't
Jennifer
know.
Aniston should have played me. Like Jennifer Aniston gives like main character.
Maybe bring back Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox. Have that duo go again.
I could get down with that.
It's possible. Tina Fey. She's funny.
Oh, Tina Fey is funny. Maybe Tina Fey could be my sister and I could be Jennifer Aniston.
There you go.
I think I want to be Jennifer.
I love how you talked yourself into this. You're like, yeah, my sister gives me the soft. Literally, it's the SpongeBob meme where it's like 3 minutes later, and it's like, no, I think I'm gonna be Jennifer Aniston now.
I'm actually super soft.
There you go. There you go. All right, so you're Jennifer Aniston. I'm Theo Vaughn. Your sister is Tina Fey, right?
Yes. And then Coach B is Sandra Bullock.
I love that. I love that casting. Love it. It's beautiful. All right, Kelsey or Jennifer,
Thank
just
you.
what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be in terms of getting them to come support you guys in Tucson this weekend?
Well, we can't thank you guys enough. You guys have been with us this entire season through the ups and downs, and we're very thankful for you. This is a big rivalry week, and we need every single one of you guys to show up virtually, physically, and just keep showing your Sun Devil love. We love you guys, and we're very thankful for you.
Absolutely. Go out there. Go to Tucson. As nasty of a place as it is, go support your Arizona State Sun Devils, guys. Kelsey Hall, thank you as always.